All right, LeBron James last night, really strange game, Vinny. I was watching our guy Chris Haynes at the end doing the interviewing on TNT. Shout out Chris Haynes. I see you getting a compliment for his fantastic post-game skills, but he had a lot to sum up there. He wound up talking to Jason Tatum after the game. At one point in the fourth quarter, I thought he was going to talk to either LeBron James or Anthony Davis after the game because the Lakers were down 20, Vinny. Mm-hmm. Then they made a comeback. The Celtics were down 13 with 5 minutes to go. Then they make a comeback. They force it to overtime after Anthony Davis missed 2 free throws that would have put them up by 4 with about 28 seconds left. And then the Celtics pulled away and won in overtime over the Lakers. So if you look at this game last night, there are a few things to pull away from it. What are a couple of things that stand out to you from this Lakers-Celtics matchup, which is always regular season or postseason? Lakers fans and Celtics fans, they both take it too far because it means no matter how good the teams are, this is a game that means something to them, to both sides, regardless. So what do you take away, the objective observer, what do you take away from this?
Well, for the Celtics, it's an interesting thing, but, and I guess we can flesh that out later, right? The Celtics thing is this. Joe Mazzulla trusts his players so friggin' much that maybe they've learned how to play through some of those ridiculous runs that another team will throw on you that you're not tripping on it, right? Because when the Lakers went from being down double digits to being up, 13 or whatever it was, my man Joe was just sitting there chilling, right? He's like, y'all will figure it out. I'm surprised he didn't call a timeout. But the Lakers,
I don't know if that's trust. I don't know if that's
seems
trust.
like it. It seems. You think it's inactivity? You think that's
dude, he was like, hey, man, can you believe we in Los Angeles? Hey, man, there's a game going on.
Wow.
Time out.
No,
Time out.
I think
20.
I think there's a level of him maybe realize, maybe I'm giving him too much credit, but there's a bigger picture here. Sometimes the coach won't be able to save you, and you're going to have to figure some things out on your own, like the whole Phil Jackson thing. I don't think he's necessarily taking it that far, but I do think he wonders if his players can experience some adversity, especially considering how they turn the ball over. Like, it looked like the NBA Finals, where Tatum and Brown couldn't get shots up because they were throwing the ball all over the place. And then you just look up and boom, they figured it out, right? But that's not the interesting thing from last night, because I don't think the Celtics are making the finals anyway. The interesting thing from last night, I said it.
I'm going to come back to that. Go ahead, keep going.
For the Lakers, there is a formula, right? There is a formula for them to win and be competitive. You got to be hellacious at times on defense. LeBron and AD have to make shots. But the problem lies is that neither one of those guys, LeBron or Anthony Davis, can sustain the effort for 48 minutes. Anthony Davis was good until he wasn't. And it wasn't that he was bad. It was that his battery literally ran out. And that's not be bagging on conditioning or anything like that. He's a big dude, and he's asked to cover a lot of ground defensively. He's been asked to do so much over the past 2 weeks. But when you look at some of the Lakers' struggles late in games, it's almost like the battery just goes out. And when it goes out, you don't get a second win or third win. I think that's the case for most big men. Most big men can't get their second win as quick as maybe guards can. So if you've been relying on Anthony Davis all game, and all of a sudden he's got nothing left, what do the Lakers have? Because LeBron, late in games, as a function of age, experience, or whatever, he does not go to the basket anymore. He does not want to get fouled. He will stand back there and jack up threes, which he's become just good enough at to make him feel like it's a viable option, right? If he were a bad shooter, he could rationalize going to the rim. But because he's been a just good enough shooter, and he hit a couple threes last night, he can say, you know what? I'm going to sit back here and kick it, as opposed to going to the lane, going to the line, where I'm about a 65, 66% free throw shooter. So if your two best players have big time wars late in games, you have problems.
Yeah, and I think, back to your point about Anthony Davis and the batteries being out, and I know Darvin Ham said that after the game. Hey, I got to do a better job of strategically getting these guys rest. He was a little winded. I mean, missing 2 free throws there, because you make one.
That's legs. But missing free throws is just legs. It's legs or nerves. And I don't think he's scared. I just think it was legs.
Not scared. Yeah, and those guys, so they got 2, and we'll talk about this in a second. We'll talk about the rankings. At least one publication attempted to rank the league, the top 100 players in the league recently. And according to this publication, we'll see the list in a second. According to this publication, the Lakers have 2 of the top 10 to 12 players in the league. So 2 top 12 players in the NBA.
Okay.
So if you got 2 top 12 players in the NBA, you have convinced Russell Westbrook to come off the bench, and you haven't lost him. As a matter of fact, he's just as engaged as he was when he was starting, but more effective. Okay, because sometimes his engagement was too much engagement. But as a guy off the bench, I thought he played well last night. Looked like he was going to lead them in overtime. Scored the first 4 points in overtime. Did well. That's not enough, though. It's just not enough. What they have, their formula, is just not enough to make them contenders. They need something else. Whereas the Celtics, I mean, you look at them before this Lakers game, I thought the Warriors really exposed them. The Warriors know how to play the Celtics. They don't fear them. They still have that big brother thing. Like your big brother just knows stuff, just knows nuances and has some wisdom that you'll eventually get. But big brother ain't about to share it with you right now, because big brother is holding on to, hey, I got an advantage over you. And when you get to my level, okay, then we'll have that conversation. But you're not yet. You're not there yet. So I'm going to take advantage of you. So they didn't look great against the Warriors. They looked lost against the Clippers. They needed this game. They needed to win this one to end their road trip. But it's interesting to see them now figure things out, and to do it behind a guy who told Chris Haynes after the game, he said, when I step on the floor, I'm not going A-Sherrod on you now, but this is what Jason Tatum said about himself. He said, when I step on the floor, I feel like I'm the best player. I feel like I'm the best player when I step on the floor. I miss
somebody watched A-Sherrod last week. I like that.
Oh yeah. Listen, I thought he was out of his mind when he said he's the best player in the league. I don't think Tatum is and Tatum's playing very well. Some people think he's the MVP. I still don't think he's the best player in basketball. But Gary, now that I brought that up, you got that list? You got that list from the Ringer? Because I want to get Vinny. Oh, we don't have it yet. We don't have it yet. I thought we had it. Because I want to get your take on it. They don't have Tatum as the best player in basketball. They don't have LeBron, and they don't have Anthony Davis. And they don't have Steph.
Neither do I.
Okay, I can't wait to talk to Natalie about this.
She is fuming Friday. Right now. There is steam coming out of that woman's ears as we speak.
Hey, thanks for watching Brother from Another on YouTube. Make sure you hit subscribe before you leave, and be sure to watch us 3 to 5 p.m. Eastern Time on Peacock. Appreciate you.